California has moved a step closer to becoming the first American state to ban caste-based discrimination. This after a bill that adds caste as a protected category, clearing a crucial hurdle in the state assembly on Monday. Now, Senate Bill 403, which will add caste as an explicit category for anti-discrimination action in the state's civil rights, education and housing codes, was passed by a margin of 50 to 3, marking the first time that an American legislature has considered and cleared an anti-caste legislation. It will now move to the Senate for a final concurrence vote before heading to Governor Gavin Newsom's desk for his signature. The bill comes just weeks after the California Senate Judiciary Committee unanimously passed it in April. Earlier this year, Seattle became the first American city to outlaw caste discrimination after its local council passed a resolution moved by an Indian American politician and economist. The resolution, moved by Shama Sawant, an upper caste Hindu, was approved by the Seattle City Council by a 6-1 vote. It also follows the resolutions to designate caste as a protected category passed by the California Democratic Party, the California State University System, the Alphabet Workers Union, and tech giants like Apple and Cisco, among others. Civil rights organization Equality Labs was the brain behind this anti-caste discrimination resolution in Seattle. It has now, in fact, been spearheading a nationwide campaign. This development is the latest in a string of moves that has put the spotlight on the presence of caste among the South Asian population in the US, with a significant group of activists saying birth-based biases continue to dog the diaspora. The battleground for several of these cases, especially the ones involving tech workers, has been California, which is America's most populous state with over 39 million residents, of which nearly 1 million are Indian American. Thenmozi Soundarajan, the founder and executive director of Equality Labs, has said, and I quote, "The assembly vote is a win for the ages. After conducting over 700 advocacy meetings across California, the people have spoken resoundingly for caste equity protections." She says, "As a Californian who's endured caste biases my whole life, I know the struggles and adversity that caste-oppressed Californians have unjustly faced firsthand. Caste-oppressed people have organized for over 20 years so we could have lived our lives free from violent attacks and discrimination," she said. But the bill has also opened deep rifts within the Indian American community, with groups such as the Hindu American Foundation opposing such moves. Suhag Shukla, the executive director of this group, says, "Today is a sad day. California has reawakened its racist past in passing a legislation that demonizes and targets South Asians and Hindus. 50 California legislators chose to side with anti-Hindu hate groups rather than showing moral courage and upholding the Constitution," he said. Many Indian Americans now fear that codifying caste in public policy will further fuel instances of Hindu phobia in the United States. Indian Americans are the second largest immigrant group in that country. Okay, let's go back to Shri to understand this raging debate in the United States, especially amongst the Indian diaspora. Shri, there are some who are calling this Hindu phobia and even racism on part of Californian legislators, and then there are those who belong to the Indian American community saying, "Hey, we have been at the receiving end of this caste-based discrimination, which is a reality even today, whether anyone likes it or not. Therefore, a legislation of this nature is absolutely necessary." You know, how should we really see this move in California, and how, would it be correct to say that the Indian American community is pretty much split on this issue?
Neha, obviously this has triggered a tremendous amount of debate among the Indian community, even the Asian community in California, which is the most liberal state in the US. The prime accusation is that by recognizing caste as a basis for discrimination, we are, California is perhaps targeting the Hindu religion. the argument is that in every religion, whether it is Islam, whether it's Christianity, there are sects, there are groups, and people hate each other. Like, in Islam, you have the Shia Sunni fight. In Christianity, you have Protestants, Catholics. So all kinds of denominations there in every religion. So why single out Hinduism or Hindu religion as one religion, and caste as one factor to be mentioned in a anti-caste discrimination bill? So the reason for that is very simple, Neha. In California, there are 10.5 million foreign immigrants, and a significant part is actually from the Indian continent, the Asian continent, subcontinent, and so when unfortunately these people have come to US, they have brought their own baggages here, and this case was actually triggered by what happened at Cisco, where one engineer alleged that two of his supervisors discriminated against him because he was a Dalit. And earlier to that, there was a case of one Nepali gentleman who said that I was not, two of my roommates refused to, share the space with me because I was a Dalit. So, California as a state is very, very sensitive to these issues. It's a very liberal state, and there everyone must be treated equally. So from the state's point of view, I don't see any harm. I don't see that the state has done anything wrong by accepting this bill. Although it becomes a law only when Governor Gavin Newsom signs it, it becomes a law. But I think it's just a matter of formality before this gets a law. So from the state's point of view, Neha, I think it's pretty fair that there are some people who are in my state who feel discriminated against for various reasons, and I, as a state, must protect their interests. So there is absolutely no, two ways that why California decided to introduce this bill and pass this. And it is a reality that it has divided the community, and there will always be, two stories at least, if not more stories on any issue. And this, unfortunately, has divided the community. And I don't think we need to put this kind of a face to the Americans or the American community largely here, which is based on the whole concept of an egalitarian society, where no matter who you are, where you come from, you have equal opportunity to create your own life and your future. So it's unfortunate, but this is happening. And I think this might actually create deeper divides between the Asian community, between the Indian community, between the Hindus, between the Muslims, and maybe even within the Hindu community, it might create more divisions. So that, to my mind, is quite an unfortunate, bit. But as far as the state is concerned, I see absolutely nothing wrong in California trying to protect people who claim that they have been discriminated based on certain factors, based on their ancestry, based on their birth, and the caste that they were born into, Neha.
Well, you're quite right. This is the state protecting people's rights. Liberty and egalitarianism are ideals that the United States of America prides itself on, but clearly this debate will continue as far as the Indian American community in the US is concerned. On that note, Shri, thank you so much for joining us